So what is the problem today? You know you need to grow, but you're feeling overwhelmed. Either you don't have the money or you don't have the time. So today we're going to dig in and we're going to solve it by figuring out where to deploy the money, where to deploy the time so that you can actually breathe. And we're going to go through a couple case studies of how I did it in my business. Understand that, I'm in the business of real estate and media. So I'm Justin Konikow. I own Prime Real Estate with my amazing wife. She's the CEO, the brains and the heartbeat of the organization. I am the face and the voice of it. We built it through content creation. So I guess I'm a sales and creator type person. Then we started a production company and an agency to actually feed the main real estate business. Now, both of those companies work with people in the legal, hospitality, the fitness space, some amazing companies. We're working with an NHLer right now on a pretty cool program. And it's all just happened via one foot in front of the other. So what I want to tell you is I'm not any more special than anybody else. I would argue I'm probably more broken than most people, but I just never stopped. Every single day, I would review what I was doing, how I was doing it, and put one foot forward. One really cool thing about this live stream on YouTube, if you've never seen this before, is we are on Breakfast with Champions on Clubhouse. So I stream these on Fridays, typically at 5:30 to 6 or 5 to 6 a.m., so that we can actually collaborate and bring the two universes together. So if you're on Clubhouse, scroll to the top of the room, hit that live button, and I'm going to share my slide deck for you right now. Every time I go live, I show people a photo of the wonderful place that I live. This is Grand Bend, Ontario, Canada. Yes, we have beaches in Canada. Currently, this lake is completely frozen, so we're just going to skip through that. So I'm going to just share the slide deck here. What I typically do with the slide deck as well is on the Friday afternoon or Monday, I share it back out to everybody because, again, I'm just giving the stuff away for free. I don't sell any courses. There's no funnel here. It's just about community and collaboration. And the slide deck is my little gift to you for being here. Good morning, Selena Davis. I see you. Success, Fab Motivation. Dora Maria, I see you as well. Matt LaMarche is an absolute beast from Atlanta. I see Samira and some other incredible people. I'm going to jump onto Clubhouse and then actually give some love to all of you guys later. Monica Ricci, Samira. Oh, there's so many people popping into the actual live stream. So thank you so much for being here. So the slide deck's titled How to Budget, Money versus Time. The How to Budget is more of, honestly, just an oversight title for the YouTube channel, right? And a little super hack for you from a content creation perspective. You need to answer questions on YouTube. So that's why it's titled that way. Really, the topic is money versus time. You only have two things. You have money or you have time. When you're starting your career, typically you have a lot of time, not a lot of money. Then you get to a place where you have some money, but it's like, well, how can I possibly pay somebody to do something that I can just do myself? I'll save the money, but are you really saving the money? That is the question. So I'm going to give you steps, ideas, and strategies. I hate the next slide because it's just a photo of myself. But if you want to follow me, you can go to @justin.konikow. On Instagram, I answer all those DMs myself. I like meeting people, and I actually use that as like a text messaging platform. Another content hack for you. Instagram will then allow you to communicate with those people more often. So if I text Glenn about his awesome Hippo NFT, he messages me back. All of a sudden, his stuff's in my feed, my stuff's in his feed. That is how you build communities. You need to actually tell the algorithms what to do. JustinKonikow.com is where you'll get all my free resources and slide decks. So money versus time. So examples of how you can spend your money or time really are defined by the key components of your business. So I tried to break it down and make it simple. So you can ask yourself this weekend, once you print this slide deck out, what do I use as my database? What do I use as my CRM, transaction management, and project management system? I'll start with, well, I have no money. So what do I use as my database? Probably your laptop, right? You probably have a folder on your laptop that's going to house all of your data. You're going to separate it between maybe your documents, maybe your media, your marketing, but it's really you just putting in the work to manage that software. If you get money, you can actually buy something like Google Workspace and build an infrastructure database. And again, you can scale that. So I used Google Workspace as I was building my business, but I paid for like the entry level account. Now it's gotten to the point where we run multiple organizations and I have multiple leaders running different silos in those organizations. So I can use an app like Google Workspace to empower those people to make decisions so I don't have to, right? But in the beginning, I was willing to put in the time to manage my database. One thing I'd tell you is if you're running a database, make sure you're backing it up 3 different ways. One, physical copy at your actual maybe home base location. You can keep that in a safe. That's as simple as like a USB drive that you back it up to once a month. put a recurring reminder in your calendar or your phone to actually back it up, because so many people know they should, they don't, and then they lose all their data. You need one in the cloud and then one off site. So I actually keep another drive that is at the office. I know it sounds like a lot of work. It's really not. Once you automate it and you get used to doing it, it becomes second nature. But tell me that it's not something that's incredibly valuable if something does go wrong. Next up is a CRM. That's a customer relationship management tool. I use Follow Up Boss myself, but in the beginning, I just use my email and my phone. I always like to say, you have a system. You may not be aware of it. Your system may just be not having a system. A lot of people will be like, no, I can manage my phone and relationships and keep all the stuff in my brain. I promise you that it's taking up mental energy and distracting you from doing other things. So pick a CRM. There's tons of free ones out there. I think Constant Contact's free. I think Streak is free. Again, Follow Up Boss happens to be the one that I use. And I did a whole podcast with the CEO like 2 weeks ago on my YouTube channel. So I'll actually click that link in the card on this video once we're done shooting it, so you can go watch that. Transaction management. So this is just, you're intaking a client, you're doing an actual transaction, and how are you tracking and processing it? So again, in the real estate world, we use something like Brokerment. You can use something as simple as QuickBooks if you're just doing typical billing and processing. I really like to encourage people automation and checklists. So as you're building your transaction management system, take the time to actually build out your checklist. Very important. There's a very special person on stage here. Her name's Amanda Dahl, one of the best people I've ever met when it comes to operations. So we'll go live after and have her chat a little bit about systemizing and doing SOPs. Then project management. Sounds super fancy. It literally could be something as free as Trello. Project management is, what are you doing? When are you doing it? How are you doing it? And it's more of an accountability tool than anything. Now, in the very beginning, when I was doing my business, and again, I had no money and lots of time, my project management was a paper notebook. And every day I'd be writing down all the different things that I'm doing. And then my mental energy would be put towards every single day remembering, well, here are all the key tasks, and then rewriting all the steps. Then I downloaded Trello. Then I'm a systems junkie. Then I jumped to Monday.com. Then I jumped to Asana. Every time I jumped, it took me a whole bunch of time to actually like rework the system and try and find the one that fits. But we're at a place now in my organization where it is critically important to have a project management tool that shows me all the things happening across all the different businesses in a place where it takes me 2 minutes to actually understand it by looking at a calendar view and integrating it on the back end. So I've upgraded my accounts and I use Trello Premium. They're not paying me to say that, because Trello Premium actually has the ability to build automations in. Case in point, once a property moves from pre-listing to actively listed to sold, it actually will automate tasks to all of my transaction coordination and marketing team, thus saving me from making extra clicks. 2 of my mentors actually taught me a long time ago, if you can take anything that takes 20 clicks and get it down to 2, if you amortize that over the lifespan of your business, you're saving a lot of money. The next thing is brand building. So again, you have a lot of time, no money. Brand building is something you can do a lot of, right? We're in Breakfast with Champions. We're spending time on social media. We're communicating to the world. I am building my brand through this video. You have an idea that I am in sales and media. I've talked about content creation. If you don't know me, now I'm anchoring all of those aspects. And what am I using? Time. I'm not spending any money on this. I'm using my time, which is a valuable resource for me right now, but I've gotten more than you can imagine from this room. So I'm trying to give it back. The other thing that I really like about this is brand building and accountability have tied in together, right? I've forced myself into a situation where I'm doing these lives now every week, and it's helping me put these videos out at a better cadence. So again, using my time to do that. I'm just going to go back to the YouTube channel for a quick second. I'm seeing the comments pop off. Derek Bixler is here. What's up, Derek? Kimberly, Perspective 360, Dr. OJ, thank you so much. If you are on Clubhouse, you click the link at the top. You can join the stream, chat it up with these people. I see Janice Jensen, as always, and Ginger Walker. She's the best radio host on the planet and one of my friends through Sirhands. Give her a follow. I see her on the stage at Clubhouse as well. If you're on YouTube, pop over to the Clubhouse room. It's awesome, and we're going to do some exclusive Breakfast with Champions content after this. So in terms of building your brand, a couple key steps that you're going to want to do: analyze your audience and your competitors. You want to determine your personal style and focus. You want to name the company, create a tagline, design your brand, develop your logo, implement your branding strategy across your company. Now, it's a whole mouthful. It sounds like a lot of money. It wasn't for me in the beginning. So logo design, for example, you could spend $20,000 on a logo like that, right? We actually created our production company and our agency because I wanted something to serve people like me that didn't have $20,000 to spend on a logo. You can go on Fiverr and you can spend $100 on a logo. You can go on 99 designs for $500, get 99 designers competing to design your logo for you. There's a strong myriad of options out there. Again, if you don't have money, you can spend your time doing the research on logo design and everything else. Now, I don't think you're going to end up with as good of a product as you would be if you hired an expert. But at the same time, if the resources can be deployed somewhere else, that's something you need to decide. In my opinion, I could name my company Potato. As long as my service is absolutely undeniable, I'll grow. Maybe not to the same cadence I would as I named it Prime Real Estate and you knew exactly what we did. But I think you know where I'm going with this. As far as analyzing the audience competitors, that is something you can do with your own time, or you can hire somebody to do it for you. Style and focus. There's actually a guy on stage here named Roger Horvath. I saw him pop in earlier. He's a new hire to Prime. He's a very interesting character. So we sat down and we do a brand audit with every single one of our agents. Once they come in, get used to the systems, we sit down, we help them find their voice. And then the production company will put out some digital assets for them and really frame kind of that narrative. And we help amplify their voice. Roger Horvath has the highest classification of helicopter license on the planet. Barbara Majeski, I see you. If you want to buy a helicopter, you can hire Roger. He'll fly you around very, very safely. They call him the surgeon because he's so detailed, but we were trying to establish what his voice would be and what adjectives really define him. And he's very detailed, which you'd have to be if you fly helicopters. He's very focused and he's an incredible learner. So that really gave us a framework of the style and focus of his voice, but he's also a commercial real estate focused person and heavily in real estate investing and with a penchant towards even storage units. So knowing that style and focus and spending maybe an hour doing that with him, I was in a clubhouse room the other day and actually hooked up with one of the largest storage facility REITs in Canada, jumped on a call with her yesterday for 30 minutes. And now because we spent that time, there's potential for resources down the road too. So just spending the time on these things is very important. Crafting a tagline and refining that tagline every year to me is very important. We do it with Prime Real Estate as an independent entity and then Justin Konikow separately, right? Prime, our tagline is we want to be the most trusted name in real estate. All our decisions are based around that. Down the road, we will be delegating some of those tagline developments to more professional companies, which I have access to, but I also realize I enjoy it. And if I'm looking at my time and resources, to me, my tagline and the voice of my company is so critical. I would rather donate my time, which is actually my most valuable asset, than just pay somebody else that doesn't necessarily understand my voice. Now, one little tip is think about when is it time to jump from your time deployment to money deployment. I'm telling you that I like designing my tagline, but when my dollar per hour fee is going to exceed what it's going to take me time-wise to create that tagline, I really need to rethink where I'm spending my time. I don't know if he's in this room, but I've been trying to get him into Breakfast with Champions. I am going to get him on a segment. There's a gentleman named Chris Doe. He is the future on YouTube. I'll link to his channel as well too in this video after we edit it. Monster. And he grinded on that channel for 7 years. Then he had one video pop off and now he's got millions of followers on his channel. And he really talks about selling effectively and getting what you're worth. And he talked about a photographer. This is such a cool case study. He said, the photographer goes in, lands a $2,000 deal, right? And goes in, shoots it, edits it, does the whole thing. Maybe takes him 37 hours out of a 40-hour work week to do that job. And if you divided his number of hours versus whatever his payment was, I think it was 2,000, it worked out to call it $54 an hour. And then he started looking at, well, what would it cost me to have somebody coordinate the shoot? Well, $10 an hour because it's a pretty simple job. What would it take for somebody to actually go shoot it? Maybe $20 an hour. What about editing? Maybe 15. He started compartmentalizing all the different costs associated with it and the hours versus those costs. And he realized he was actually leaving more than 50% of the money on the table because he was micro managing it. Not only that, if he took 37 hours a week and all he did was focus on this one project, once the project's done, his pipeline is finished. He's not going out and selling and getting new business and everything else, right? So Prime is built very similarly to that. It may look like I'm busy and I'm running around like crazy. I'm actually paying more attention to our actual clients and files. The only thing I focus on daily, sales and branding. That is my focus. So I've put people and I've given away money to gain leverage and time. And that is how we are growing as quickly as we are, because I'm able to go out and get new business and solve complex problems that I have the brain capacity for, not because I'm smart, because I have the experience. So again, this whole session is to motivate you that if you don't have money, you have time to get the experience. Go and get the experience and become undeniable. I see Roger Horvath on the YouTube stream. Everybody give that guy a follow. If you need a ride, he can pick you up in the Air Orange ambulance helicopter. I see Mary Lynn. Good morning. And about my father's business. Good morning, champions. So many wonderful people here this morning. So I'm going to blast through the last of these slides. Sales and team building. So it's great that you've branded yourself. You've attracted business. Doesn't mean anything unless you can actually sell, right? People can build pipelines and they can bring people into their business. But if you have no system around intake, qualification, service delivery standards, and client care, you're going to fail. So what does an intake look like when you have no money? It's me picking up my phone and answering it. What does an intake look like when you have a lot of money? It's having a CRM that you've built out and automated, that if Jan clicks on a beautiful beachfront property in Grand Bend, it automatically gives her exactly what she asks for, pops up on my phone, allows me to call her. When I'm done the call, I put the phone down and everything's automated to make sure my follow-up's in place. My agents book the showing, we get the deal done without me actually having to lift a finger. So that's how you get from A to B. Qualification is a system around making sure that I know that Jan isn't just a bot off Facebook or actually trying to sell me something. We have a quick conversation around that. If it's time, then it's me doing it on the phone. If it's money, maybe it's somebody that I'm paying a salary to that does the qualifications for me. Service delivery standards is making sure that I give her the best service she's ever experienced in her life. Again, if it's just time focused, it's me running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to satisfy all of my clients, which you will break at one point and you'll start letting people down. And I can tell you, think about your business this way. If your pipeline stopped and your past clients were the only people you could get business from, how would that change your client's service delivery standards? Think about that and make sure you're deploying appropriate resources towards your service delivery standards and client care post-transactions. Jan and I have become best friends. She lives in Grand Bend now and she's on the beach and she comes and hangs out with me. But what does that look like post-transaction? Maybe I'm throwing client events and I'm spending a whole bunch of money on that once a year. Or maybe I'm just doing Popeyes and I'm not spending a dime, but I'm actually saying hi to her and making an effort to connect with her on a one-to-one basis. You do have resources. You cannot use money as an excuse. Many people have built multi-million-dollar businesses with no money. Team building, very important. I think of yourself as a team from day one. I'm talking about scale with the companies that we have, but I was every single person at one point. My wife was transaction coordination. I was marketing sales. I was communications. I was my qualification person. I was my showing agent. I was my photographer. I can go on for days. I've done every job in the company and I can pick up my shovel and do it tomorrow. But as I built my team, what I did was structure an organizational chart. Again, Amanda Dahl is a beast at this. I figured out who my key players were, right? My leadership team. And then now actually we're reviewing our onboarding and training. Roger knows this because we've been talking about it internally. We already have a system in place, but anybody that I've met with an iota of success still always feels like they're just getting started. And that's kind of how we feel. We're ripping it apart. And I'm spending my time refining my onboarding and training processes until they're perfected, which is never. And it's going to get to a point where my dollar per hour productivity on working on these systems is going to be such that I'm just going to hire it out to a consultant. But again, I'm kind of in that place right now where we are growing a worldwide virtual platform. So it is important for me to be in the mix, making the sauce, learning to make the sauce so that when I hire the consultants, I speak the same language. Let's go back to the logo, web design, content design side of things. I know exactly how long it takes to shoot and edit a video because I can do it. I know how long logo design takes because I can do it. I know how long web design takes because I can do it. So my negotiations with a lot of designers is very different because I know how to make the sauce. If you don't have an interest in that stuff, you don't have to learn how to make the sauce. But whatever you are interested in, I would encourage you to spend a little bit of time understanding the infrastructure so you can actually save resources in the long run. And then standard operating procedures. It sounds fancy. It's literally a Google document. You create a document that is your operations manual, and everything you do, you sit down and you write down as an SOP. I'll actually show you an example of one. This is from my boy, Sean Cannell. I hope he doesn't mind me sharing this, but this is the YouTube live streaming influence system. You can get it through the Hypergrowth Blueprint and the VRA Academy. which I am an affiliate for that program. It's on my website. They are absolutely amazing. I do not co-sign anything that I'm not a part of, but here's an action plan about going live. Brainstorm ideas, outline your content, let people know you're going live, make titles, description, tags, thumbnails, go live, use cards to optimize, keep promoting the video. That's how complicated it is. It's literally writing down every step of what you're going to do somewhere so that you can actually review it. So the next section is actually you slowing down now so that you can go a little bit faster, right? And review, like, do you actually have a plan as to where you're going? Because a lot of people get so caught in the weeds. They start getting an iota of success. They're falling forward. We've all been there. I'm in those seasons all the time too. But frequently I ask myself, I got to slow down, take a look at where I'm at. And do I actually have a plan for what we're executing? And if you can keep doing this slow down to go faster segment, it's actually going to make you grow 10 times faster than you would if you just kept pushing the sales. I'm actually doing it right now. I'm going to be working from home today, and we are looking at our transaction process, and we're going to look at our marketing coordination process. Make sure they're ultra dialed in. Once you finish the SOP in the document, then you take that checklist and you put it somewhere where you can activate it automatically. So it lives in Google Documents. Then it goes into Follow Up Boss, my CRM, so I could click a button and then all the checklists pop up so I can execute against the service delivery standard that I promised the client. Then I just tell people, keep it super, super simple, right? Don't reinvent the wheel. You want to find some examples of other industry budgets and then break it down into 2 points of what's standard in our industry and what is the blue ocean that I can change, right? You don't have to be boxed in by how industries operate, and you can actually look at other industries for inspiration. But again, I learned from people that have already been where I've been, and I've paid money for mentorships to scale much faster and then throw my own spin on it once I understood the sauce. Analyze the resources. So again, keeping it simple, looking at how much money you actually have to spend, and then time that you actually have to spend. And there's only a couple tools that you can use to do that. It's your calendar and I guess 4 tools. I mentioned one earlier. It'd be your calendar and your task list, right? You only have time and money. Like Amanda says, you look at your bank account and you look at your calendar, it's really going to tell you a lot about your resource deployment. Your CRM tool that I mentioned earlier, I can't reiterate this enough. Your CRM is your book of business. Treat your CRM like a safe. All I focus on is my names, phone numbers, emails, and then the tags. Why are tags important? Because you can segment audiences. You can actually take that exact list, import it into an application like MailChimp, and make sure you're serving that audience only what they want. I'm uber transparent about everything that I do. So when you want this slide deck and you click on the link in my bio where you go to justinkonikow.com/resources and you sign up for it, you get onto a very specific mailing list. I'm not going to send you properties. I'm not going to send you Prime's newsletter because you don't care. You don't live in my neighborhood and I would lose your trust. I will send you events and I'll send you invites to things that we're doing. And I'll send you free PDFs because that's our agreement, right? We've discussed it. And I promised you that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you an invite that nobody knows about yet, where Benji Travis is coming on my podcast next Thursday. A massive YouTuber, has been on Breakfast with Champions, and you want to ask him questions live, I'm giving you access to that. But again, just understanding the relationship and the dynamics between what that looks like. And that's how powerful segmenting audiences can be, because it allows me to quantify and honor the trust that I've built with those audiences. And then simple bookkeeping, not my world. We can talk about this on Breakfast with Champions in a couple minutes. If you're on the YouTube stream, head over to Clubhouse so you can join us, because I'm going to wrap up the slide deck. But we've got some other people that are much better at finances than I am. Thankfully, I married my CFO. My wife is an absolute legend. If you haven't heard about Shannon, she's an MBA level educated woman from Ivy. She ran a consulting company out of Yorkville. She was one of the first dealer principals in Canada that was female. Her mom, I think, was one of the first 1 or 2. So absolute beast in the automotive industry. And I get to have her just run that side of my business. And again, time versus resources. I could spend a lot more time focusing on that side of things. When we sit down, we do our monthly and our quarterly review reports, the amount of resources she's saving me and allowing me to go out and sell, you can kind of see that dichotomy of, focusing on what you're really good at so you can go out and do the rest. Roger Horvath shared, Justin's on fire. Thanks, buddy. I hope I'm not on fire. If I am, you fly in air ambulance helicopters. You can come get me. Janice, thank you so much. Kim, I appreciate you so much as well, too. We're going to end the YouTube stream. We're going to go back to the exclusive Breakfast with Champions content. Thank you so much for being on the YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button so you do not miss any future episodes. I will be here like a crazy person every Friday morning, super early with these slide decks. If you want to, just hit the links and we'll catch you next time. Take care. And we